say baba, nai baba ere, iri bachiranga no. Baba, nai baba, baba iri bachiranga no. Baba, nai baba, baba iri bachiranga no. Ero shika oma say baba, nai baba ere baba, bachiranga no. Baba, nai baba, iri bachiranga no. Baba, nai baba, iri bachiranga no. Ero shika chora kuwa baba, nai baba ere baba, baba baba baba, nai baba, baba iri bachiranga no.
Change is not for Robert Mugabe. The change is for the people of Zimbabwe. Jesus.
Blessed Geza has completed his submission, and you have heard what he has said. I mean, a lot of things that he has said. I don't know what to make out of today's submission. He had said that today is gonna be a very big day. Today is gonna be something that you definitely need to listen to, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Zimbabweans, fellow people of Africa and the world. Blessed Runesu Geza has spoken, and here are the highlights of his presentation. Number one, Blessed Geza says that President Idi Mnangagwa is celebrating age 83 when in fact he is 87 years old. Number two, he says that the Mulumutapa Day came with President Mnangagwa showing himself up with Wiki Nuchivayo. Shockingly, Comrade Geza today says that, Wiki Nuchivayo is a Sangoma. He doubles into black magic. And that is the reason why there is a relationship with President Idi Mnangagwa.
What's wrong with black magic?
I'm gonna remove this guy who is. I'm gonna remove you, Elevation. I'm gonna remove you if you are going to do that. All right. Okay. Stop.
What's
talking.
wrong with black magic,
Okay.
though?
Let me just drop this person out.
No, I'm not gonna stop talking.
Okay. Yes, all right. Okay. So that was a shocking, statement from Comrade Blessed Geza. And then, actually talking about saying that there is a sexual relationship between President Idi Mnangagwa and Wiki Nuchivayo. That's the reason why, and this sexual relationship has to do with black magic, and this is the reason why there has been a desire to exhume the body of President Mugabe. And he went on to say that Wiki Nuchivayo himself is a very strange character whose sexual preferences and choices have been very questionable in the past. And he also talked about the issue of Wicknell himself now actually being a first lady. And then he spoke about the buying of people for the 2030 agenda, where Wicknell himself is withdrawing $4 million per week, of which after speaking for a bit, perhaps he forgot that he said per week. He said every single day. Right, guys, remember, I'm giving you the speech. I'm giving you the summary of the actual speech. And then he also said that President Idi Mnangagwa is the godfather of the Ziganandas. And he said, shame on you, Jabulani Sibanda, for supporting President Idi Mnangagwa. Shame on you, Mavenyengwa, Misimrembwa, and many others. And he went on to speak about the fact that he is committed to working with anybody that has the desire of removing President Idi Mnangagwa from office. And that's why he is inviting everyone to go to Mutare to ensure that, the constitution to be
Kana
respected,
mfuna
because
ndokuroba.
the intention
Yani kuturike
is
maoko
fulfilling,
chando
in his
kuroba.
words, the constitution of Zimbabwe. And he mentioned also
Chando
that the
mfundisi
funds
wako
that are
iki.
being donated were supposed to be donated to
Munhu
the
wese
party
muzorati
and
munhu
not
wese
being
mwana
donated
wangu
to the
wesangano.
individuals. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you
Iwewe
make
nhongo
of
vatorasika iwe unofanira kuuya kuchechi
Comrade Blessed
ndikuturike maoko.
Geza's submission today? Wow, 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 wow. Rudozobo, the hot seat empire. Were you expecting this?
Um, Hulu, I love how you're saying wow, wow, wow. Because for me, I'm like, I just feel like he honestly said nothing. I'm sorry, Hulu. I'm just like, I know he was talking, but I didn't get anything. like, like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Let's ask others because I'm.
All right, all right. You know what, Rudo? Let me tell you something. Nechi Shona, let me tell you something. Um, Mama, she used to tell me this. I'm sorry to be gossiping about Mama. She's not in the space. She said that vamwe vanhu akaudwa hondo nempengo. Mdara G, hanzi vamwe vanhu akaudzwa. What does he say, Mdara G? Daraji, are you
Uh,
there?
sorry, sorry. I've had flu for a few days. My voice is off.
Oh, sorry.
I will. I just wanted to comment a bit on Comrade Geza's passionate address to people. I don't know from now on whether we will speak as opposition, ZANU-PF, or as Zimbabweans. Because what's happening is to Zimbabwe, what is happening is a deprivation of a future by the youth. Then you look at what is happening in our body politic, and you understand why Zimbabweans are backwards as we are. Just a mere donation of 10 ambulances compared to a donation of a similar number of Land Cruisers by the president. By the way, I don't say by Mr. Chivayo because if Mr. Chivayo is a proper business person, you guys are in business. How much would you be earning? How much would you be churning? How much would you be turning over to be able to donate every single month an upward of 10 million US dollars? If this doesn't pain us all as Zimbabweans, I don't know what does. If this does not take us to question these people, I don't know what does. Obviously, a lot of ZANU-PF supporters do not have the privilege of seeing Wicknell being treated as some state VIP or state dignitary wherever the president goes. Tanzania is up in arms with their president because she was photographed with Wicknell Chivayo at State House. And yet in Zimbabwe, where this Wicknell Chivayo is from, we seem to be cool with everything. We seem to be cool witnessing Wicknell Chivayo coming out of our helicopter, coming out of our Zim-1, ahead of all other vice presidents. I don't know how they got there. They probably would have got there driving. And Wicknell, a convicted criminal, is afforded or accorded such dignitary entrance into some state functions. And we keep quiet about that.
Yeah.
I can't thank I can't thank Geza enough for what he has exposed today. If you look at the whole trajectory, it's aimed at 2030. Right now, I've been reading, most of the provinces have actually, because of the bribes, they've actually endorsed the 2030 mantra. Our, our fate now is in the hands of the president.
All right.
If he says he's a constitutionalist, as he says, then maybe we are saved in Zimbabwe. But if he's going to go, but what he says, the voice of the people is the voice of God, then we are in a tight fix. You've had a list of ministers and members of Politburo who are jumping for their supper. They're actually jumping, number one, for a salary, direct US dollar based salary from Uganda. Vesana Garwe, they get monthly allowances. Yekuma minimum 35,000. Vesana upamchinguri. Vanowana. Vanhu vasingawani ndiana Chris Mutsvangwa vakaunza ana manhizi nokuda kwokuti vakatora pakuru. But I'm actually so pained and saddened by the level of corruption. And I'm also, my heart bleeds. Kuti Zimbabweans were okay with that. Zimbabweans, we don't say anything. Unoona chikomana chakasvika chichizora uchi chisina hembe chichiti idi uchi. Inoshaya kuti chii chaicho chaicho chinesu mazimbabweans.
All right, Dara. Hold it there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining me, Hulu at Pachiso Life, and joining Rudolph Robo, the Hot Seat Empire. Lynn Stasia is also here with us. And, we have the speakers, Flora Romai, bus driver, ABM Babashieza, Hebo is also here, Camp, Daraji. Well, I did mention those words that but what I'm saying is, I to understand what does that mean, in this confusion that we are at. I mean, many people are completely confused indeed to say what is it that Wicknell is really bringing to the table, and where is he getting money to donate to the people. And as long as there is no clear explanation as to these issues, I think that people will continue to speculate and hear very strange submissions. And let me just go to bus driver. Dara, thank you. Let me just go to bus driver, and then I'll come to you, Camp, and ABM. I see your hand. No problem. Flora Ramai is here as well. I'll be going to Flora Ramai. Uh, what did you make, bus driver, of the submission of Comrade Geza in terms of the relationship? I mean, that perhaps is the big thing that he dropped today. I mean, the relationship, let's put aside maybe the edge where he said the president is actually 87 years old and not 83 years old. But then, what did you make of it, bus driver?
Homeboy, it's 5 minutes to 9 here in Checheche. There was absolutely no substance in that talk. The only thing I picked up from there is he was looking to say happy birthday to His Excellence, as I preempted beforehand, and he did. So the only thing which was positive from there, he was wishing His Excellency his birthday. So anything else, he just nothing. We've heard it so many times. And I think he needs to be a brand ambassador for Econet so people can keep topping up their data.
All right, bus driver, that is what you think, Camp. And before I go to Flora Ramai, Madam Flora Ramai, what did you make out of the statement, Camp? Yes, Camp, you can go ahead. Camp, you can speak.
Yeah, can you hear me
There we
now?
go. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Mudhara uyu kungoteerera but hapana zvichitaurwa mudhara. Whatever he's saying, tichitozviona, tichitoziva zvokuti tingati hanzi he has cracked something new, hapana. Now akutaura zvemakuhwa anoitwa kutsime aya nekumabhawa aya ekuti ichibvayo wife yamunangagwa that's tired talk mudhara ari useless uyu. Very much useless zvekutoti kana chamisa
dziri
akanyarara
kuseka ari kufunza kuti
much
zviri
better.
kunakidzana ika.
If you don't have anything to say, just shut your mouth.
Alright,
This is
timozondihakira
nonsense.
tozopinda naye pasession.
This is really nonsense. Coming from a war veteran, ndo war veteran anoenda nemapetrol bomb kaya. Really, really, this is embarrassing. Kungoti esina zvekuita hedu vamwe tinozongoteerera but teitozwa kuti hapana because anokudza kuti I've got something new. What is new there? Nothing. Thank you.
Yeah, Kemp. Well, yeah, Hoti Temper, I hope you're going, guys, in the comment section. For those who are unable to grab the mic, you can put up your comments on the, your points on the comment section. For those who are just joining us, let me just, before Miss Flora Ramai comes in to speak, let me just remind the people of the main points from Comrade Geza's submission today. Number one, he says that the president is not 83 years old. He is actually 87 years old. Number two, he says Wiknu Shivayo was seen holding the phones of the president and with the president in the helicopter. And the reason why they are together is because the president doubles into black magic. The president loves sangomas, and Wiknu Shivayo is a sangoma, and they actually get involved in a sexual relationship for which Wicknell has become the first lady. And that's the reason why the president has been desirous of exhuming the body of President Mugabe. And he goes on to say Simon Mann, who was arrested in Zimbabwe at some point, had mentioned that Wicklow Shivayo has got very strange sexual choices, and apparently somebody whose name he did not want to mention, who had since passed away, had a sexual relationship also with Wicklow Shivayo. And he went on to talk about people are being bought for the 2030 agenda. And where does Wickno Chivayo get all this money from? And Wickno Chivayo is withdrawing $4 million US dollars every week from the Reserve Bank and handing it over to the president. And he said that then the president is the godfather of the Ganandes. And shame on people such as Jabulani Simanda, Mr. Mavenyengwa, and Mr. Masimiremba. He said shame on them for supporting things that are wrong. And he said that the VP Chiwenga had suggested that the cars should then be donated to the party, but the cars are being donated to individuals, which is something that is very wrong. And therefore, he's willing to work with everybody whose intention will be to remove the president from power. And the conference at Mutare, the conference of ZANU PF, is urging people to go there so that the 2030 agenda will be stopped, because the intention of this conference is to mutilate the constitution. Those were that was the submission by Comrade Blessed Geza, and other people are laughing at that and feeling that this is very, very childish and not befitting, according to Camp, not even befitting of a war veteran, because these are rumors. In his words, Camp said, rumor ekutsime ekutsime Flora Ramai marumas ekutsime onomaziva iwe. Go ahead.
I wish if I knew much. How are you guys? I think your Geza needs to be sectioned, in terms of what I'm hearing here. I think he's making money out of this YouTube. Whoever set it up knows he's got to make money, but it's getting ridiculous now. So it's entertainment, but at the same time, I don't know at what end where we're going with this information he's sharing. Whether a person likes to do ngangas, that's their own personal choice. It's got nothing to do with anyone. Every person in power, they do all go to their own thing in Africa. So by the end of the day, I'm just saying, Geza needs to go and bath his brain. Geza Mfungwatake. That's the only thing he needs to do. He's an absolute idiot who needs to be laughed at and humored for the mental health that he's suffering from. He should not be taken seriously. We can entertain ourselves, But, from the sublime to the ridiculous, that's where he's at the moment. For a man his age and his obsession in terms of what he's doing is a mental health issue. I don't think anyone should even put him in prison. It's not worth it. They should just let him be. You know, there's no justification in terms of what he's sharing. A person who fought a war should be apply more wisdom and talk about what matters than what someone does. Personal issues are not important. If he was talking about other things about the country and saying things that are of relevance to us that ignite people in order to say our country is not improving, but sharing, washing someone's dirty laundry is not professional at all. He's entertaining, but he's just making money out of YouTube views. And every time he does it, he gets paid. When he's broke, he comes back, and then you all go and listen to him. But enough is enough, guys. But if you want to be entertained, that's fine. He can't stop Edie from being president. If he's 87, that's good, because he won't last until, I don't know how many people actually have a thought process when they get to 90. So, you know, he's lived long, and to have that agility at his age of 87, 83 is old as well. So by the end of the day, Geza is the one who is actually suffering from some mental illness he's more geriatric than Edie is at the moment. So I think he's the one who should get himself into a care home because he's lost it completely. Thank you, Hulu.
Flora Ramai has lost it completely. Daraji is here to give balance to the discussion. Daraji, you thanked Comrade Gaza, and you said you cannot thank him enough. But people like Flora
Yeah.
Ramai, before I go to ABM now, Daraji, just a quick one before I go to ABM so that we have balance in the discussion. And camp, they feel like, wow, what is this? This is so childish. I mean, are you there? Do you think that
I am.
there's something to defend here? What would you say,
You see,
Daraji?
Hulu, everyone is entitled to their opinion. For a Zimbabwean who has got Zimbabwean roots, for a Zimbabwean who knows what Zimbabwe is going through, to then come up and say Geza is hallucinating or he's more geriatric than the president is. I just don't know where these guys are from. What we see in Zimbabwe compared to what these guys are doing or saying, it's ridiculous. People are suffering. Ulu. You live in Zimbabwe. I live in Zimbabwe. I go into the streets every single day. I go to rural areas. I go to farms. I go everywhere around the country. People are suffering. Only a few people are enjoying, especially those that are connected to the elite. I'm not even talking about the opposition. I'm talking about everybody. Every single person is suffering. And we know that. But for people to come in pretend. Anyway, if these guys are in business themselves, or if they know business, how much turnover would you be making per day to be donating on a daily basis? And what is it that this guy, Wicknell Chivari, is doing? Is he employed by the state? And do you know that Zim1 chopper is taxpayer helicopter? What authority does Wicknell have to be behaving? What is that not embarrassing? Have you ever seen that elsewhere around the world? Do we have people gallivanting like that? Please.
Right, Daraji. Let me just bring, balance onto that, some sort of a discussion onto that, because that is something. So, camp, before we go to ABM, how do you respond to that? You said, I amakuwa ekutime. But then Daraji is saying, what is Wake Nochivayo doing next to the president? Now, how would you respond to that, camp? Okay. Camp is not able to open his mic there. Okay, Flora Ramai, as Daraji is talking there, in terms of Wikino, ABM, I'm coming to you just after Daraji. I just want to have a little bit of balance on that point. Flora Ramaya, how would you respond to that?
I'm not a Wicknell fan, but in my theory, Wicknell stands for the old guards. He stands for Grace Mugabe and so forth. I think I don't know. That's my conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
But
but then you see the 4 million. I mean, and the number of cars that he has been donating and things like that. Surely that is also strange, isn't it, Flora Romai?
I actually hate the spirit of giving people cars when the money can be used in terms of schools, education, our hospitals, than giving people cars. There's nothing philanthropical about that. There's nothing whatever it's called. I can't pronounce it at the moment. Right, about anything he does. I can't comment on his money because I'm not his banker. I don't know where he gets his money from, but I always felt it was wrong for the president to have him near him. That should not be allowed, as far as I'm concerned. In a normal country, what he's doing, I don't think he plays much of a role that is actually strategic to me. Um, you know, a normal person wouldn't allow him anywhere near him. But the people who received the gift, there's only one lady who said no, and she did well. But the rest of people are just, I don't know, maybe they're prostituting themselves.
Mm.
It's not good. I wouldn't take anything from him. I don't believe in such charity at all.
Yeah, I understand, Flora Romai Dorothy. So you hear from Flora Romai there that there are also many other people who are aligned to ZANU PF who find it extremely very strange that somebody every week will have to be donating cars worth thousands, and yet we have got rules in Zimbabwe in terms of financial rules where you are not allowed to be withdrawing so much money and stuff like that, importation of cars, paying of duty, tax returns, and etc. etc. And basically just knowing somebody's business. The thing is, at no time have we ever seen Wikno Chivayo donating cars to his own workers, and the only workers that you can ever see are his bodyguards. So we saw that other office that he paraded on social media to say there's an office that is being built. Nobody now can really have any sense of what is going on at those offices. I personally, I don't know, maybe others here know. I have never seen him donate cars to his accountants, to his secretaries, and all the men of people, those that are actually supposed to be helping him to make the money. And I think that is the most strange thing. Where does he get his money from? And we end up now laughing at Comrade Geza talking about things which are very strange as well. But this is a very strange situation. So Daraji, and then I go to ABM. Or Camp
Ulu, you're
is
right.
hand is up. Camp, I'll come to you after ABM. All right,
Ulu,
Daraji?
you're very right. I've seen Joshua Maponga achivenga strive achitaura nezvastrive, but ikoneti tinoziva iri spread throughout the country ichiemploya vanhu, thousands and thousands of people. Now, isu every country inokupa withdrawal limits. Wikinel anoisa madonations aisaoisa nemari cash pamusoro. He can build any offices. Net the rate at which he's donating, he could probably build a new Harare because Mariacho Anayo, Mariacho Akatora ku state. Now, what we want is, if you have a person like Wicknow, nyika zvino dzakadzikama dzinoita a lifestyle audit kuti tione kuti mari yake iri kunyatsobva papi, tonyatsoisa public domain kuti you know what, vanhu vari kudhiga apa vari kudhiga apa vari kudhiga apa, is earning this much. My worry yekuti kana munhu asina kuenda kuchikoro zvakanyanya kuwanda ndeyekuti uri kumboita turnover yemari per day uchiitei kuti ukwanise kudonata as he is donating. That's not philanthropism. Iyo inonzi egoism neshow off. Iyo inonzi chinangwa. Chinangwa ndaakuchiona manje kuti zvakamirirwa kuti madonations ese anga achipuhwana japraise nemamusicians nemadancers tatakamirira the political goal yavo. Political goal yavo yanga iri yekuti vaende 2030. They've mutilated the constitution. Handisi kuona vanhu vari kukaka zvakadaro. Dai Chivaya achingo nemari yete, the amount of money he has donated since last year or since he came into play. Anofanirwa kunge aine zikambani rakasimba this guy kuvaka maoffices anokunowaka achipera 2 days achipera 3 days because he's got the money but ngationei kuti mari yacho yakabva kupi mari yacho iri kubva kupi ari kumboishandisa ichibvepi ichiitwa mari ichizoita profit net profit mari then tozoziva kuti mukomanaka murume is a business person because business chairo chairo hauti usina kudya capital sekudya kuri kuitwa naWicknotify kana vanhu vezanu vachikwanisa kuexplaina izvozvo then we are home and dry but handisi kuona chiri kufamba in terms of business rake chivhayo asi mari yacho anayo iri kubvepi. Thank you.
Yeah, that I think is the thing that is going to continue to create a lot of confusion and speculation, and making other people start to listen to some of these things where people are simply laughing at Comrade Gaza. But then the very strange thing is about Week Nosifayo and his money, where he's getting his money from, where are his workers, where is his business, how is his business making money, how much taxes is paid to the country. That becomes a very strange situation, very, very strange, and particularly also the fact that he is the only one that is seen being excessively very close to the president. And we know Scott Sakupanya, we know Taguire and all that, but this one is extremely very close and always very close, making it extremely very strange in terms of what he is doing. Flora Ramai believes, and she's on a PF, but she believes that it is not beneficial. She doesn't really see any strategic benefit. But anyway, before I go to Ometa and Kemp, you are here as well. Your hand is up. I called your name and you could not speak earlier. But let me just go to ABM so that we have got that balance, and then we will have Ometa and Kemp coming in as well. So ABM, do you know where Wicknochi virus money is coming from? I mean, where are his workers? Have you ever seen him donating cars to his own workers? Do you have any evidence of that?
No. And to be very honest, Hulu, to me, looking from the outside in, Wigno Shiwayo is a private citizen. Whatever he's doing with his money, who am I, right? And who is anyone else? And I just almost find it weird that everybody is so concerned about it. Pocket watching a lot of times, and you see a lot of it. It's men who are doing these things, right? This guy is a private individual. If he's doing something wrong, you know what? Well, I'm sure the law will take. There's the financial intelligence unit. There's every other thing that they can use to investigate him. So I really do not care, to be honest, about Week now. It's just that I know that there are envious people out there, there are jealous people out there that will always have something to say. And I say this because I am a child of a guy who was once very, very prosperous, and there were always these conspiracies. My dad runs Vakaromba, even the Chingochan is, it's all of these low hanging fruit things that people say about somebody when they're just envious of another person. Right. So for me, like, because of my previous experience and how I know the public or envious men deal with rich men, I understand that somebody will be just trying to actually make it seem like it's a nefarious issue. It's a nefarious issue, just simply because they don't have the money, right? So for me, I'm a little bit biased because I grew up in a very rich family where there were conspiracies. Even after my father passed away, there's still conspiracies about how he made his money, right? So I understand how
So
people may want to look at it.
ABM in 2025, do you think they should be
Mhm.
yeah, there were conspiracies about your father in terms of where he was getting his money, but those
Yeah,
conspiracies were not national. In 2025
yeah.
now, for somebody that is so much in the public domain, do you think that
Mhm.
it should still be a conspiracy in terms of where Wick Notifier is getting his money from? Should it still be a conspiracy in 2025?
Right.
Year 2025.
I get it. Yeah, and I know that it is because you'll always get broke niggas out there, right? And as long as there's broke people out there, they're gonna cook up conspiracies all the time, right? So that's never gonna end. As long as there's broke people, they're always gonna be looking for another reason, and that reason actually works for them because now it's an excuse for those broke people not to work hard, not to get money, not to make their dreams come true, because they'll just think, Wickno is doing something nefarious, so I can never do it. So now I have an excuse to tell my children why I'm a failure in life. I have an excuse to tell myself why I'm a failure in life. I have an excuse to tell my children why I'm lazy. I have an excuse to tell myself why I'm lazy. So there are people that will always come up with these situations. But furthermore, I just want to touch more about what Geza said, which was once again a bunch of nothing. Wambundibvunza hulu kuti what were we expecting, and I told you kuti ndege nyowani yemashanga, ndege nyowani yemashanga ndio yataona nasi kwakunzi Wicknell ingochani kwakunzi ivo vamunangagwa vacho pamwewo futi handiti kwakunzi vamunangagwa vanoromba vanoenda kun'anga kwakunzi chii. So yeah, ndege yemashanga yanga iri nyowani. And once again, I do feel sorry for those people that take him seriously, because you're wasting your time. There's no end goal for Geza. He's not doing this for anything else but for little views on YouTube. There's nothing that he's saying that is actually tangible, that has tangible evidence. Nothing
Yeah,
at
yeah,
all.
but here the people are
Kungofungira.
asking a basic
Mhm.
question. People are asking a
Mm.
basic question. Well, I mean, some people could be laughing at what some of the statements and stuff like that. But then,
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever? I asked you earlier. Have you ever heard Wickno Chivayo parading his workers and giving them cars? Has it ever happened? Maybe I missed that. I've never, I've never seen it myself. I mean, have you ever seen him or heard him giving cars to his workers?
Well, no, and I don't think that would make any national news, because simply because it's his company, right? And once again, Hulu, if his, I'm sure his workers are more than happy. If you're working for Wicknell, then you're probably happy. But that being said, I get where you're coming from, Hulu. Let's Wicknell show his money, where his money is coming from, just to put to set aside any doubts. I understand where Mr. Ramai is coming when she's looking at it. I understand where a lot of people are coming in when they start assuming where Wickno is getting his money. As much as he's a private citizen, he should at least show us some source of his money, or just give us an idea of where he gets his money. That way you can set aside some of these assumptions, right? And I totally get it. But at the same time, he is a private citizen, and he can do whatever he wants with his money. And he's allowed, by the way, he's allowed to get onto the helicopter. Helicopter and so I don't think it should be something that's like, oh my God,
All right. All right,
yeah, yeah.
hang it there. I mean, hold it there. Sorry, I mean, Baba Chiesa. Let me go to Ometa. So, Ometa, welcome to the space. And what is feeding this conspiracy? Other people are saying this is absolute nonsense. What Geza is talking about is absolute hogwash. I mean, Kemp was here and describing it as, I mean, rumors zekutsime. And I mean, Flora Ramai, I think she said something like complete nonsense. But then, what is feeding this nonsense? Is I mean, when people have no clarity in terms of where Wicknell is getting his money from and things like that. What is feeding this? Ometa, go ahead.
Thank you, Hulu. Wataura Hulu ukati vamwe vakaudzwa hondo nemurwere wepfungwa vakamushora hanzi uyo anorwara. Ndimacheso akaimba izvozvo. Geza ari kungoitawo zvake munyama wokuti aimbotambira timu iyi kudhara. Saka pane kamwe kachigumbu kane vanhu kanouya naturally kuti chinakira chawava kuda kutiitira nhasi chii, asi waane nzara kana kuti wakagumbuka, or disgruntlement. But now, part of war, we fail to grasp an opportunity because takakumakira kuti waimbenge uri ikoko. Hapana chaataura chekunyepa, handizozive zvazvo zvezvimabedroom izvi I can't confirm, handisandambopinda nawo mubedroom. But zveumbavha izvi ichokwadi. Wicknell ifront, irana, idecoy. Saka the more we discuss tichiti Wicknell, ndo basa rake iroro. Munofana kuti Wicknell. Hamufana kuramba muchiti ed. Focus your attention on Wicknell. Haana kuunzwa padhuze nekuti hanzi anongofarirwa kana kuti ari philanthropic. No. We should realize kuti pakabva Mugabe, ED had always envied. It started iri admiration for Mugabe. Then it turned into envy. That classic thing yekuti munhu wepadhuze kazhinji ndiye anowanzo kuvhiringa nekuti over time panoita karuchiva kekuti I like the way he talks, I like the women that he gets with, I like how people like him, I like how he hangs around this person and that person. So pakaenda Mugabe, if you notice, ED akatanga kuinherita vanhu vese vaimbenge vari associated naMugabe, the likes of Wicknell. Chimufana chinotsvaga mari ichi ndo chaimhanyisa madhiri ekwana Mugabe kaichi, ndo chaimhanyisa madhiri ekwana Grace kaichi, ndobva amuhaka iwo mufana yochimhanyisa magemu aya. Ende pasangana vanhu vasina nyadzi, munhu asina nyadzi anobuda mundege iyaya nekushorwa kwaari kuita, akasunga fesi, akamisa dumbu zenene rake reria, haana nyadzi because imari yaakuita kuti pasaite nyadzi. Ende haana kana basa nazvo. Nyange mukandishora mukandituka ndikaita dhiri re50 million ndichisara ndine 5 million, ndezvenyu izvo. Saka nyadzi dzapera. Wicknell zvese zvaari kuita haasiri yaari kutenga nemari yake, inhumwa. Let's not fix hospitals. Hospital haina basa. Ngatitengere maprovincial chairperson aya, ndo vanhu vanoramba vakabata system yedu. Individuals pakanzi padonetwa hospital kana ambulance kana kuti patengwa mushonga, hazvina impact. Ndiani ari influential? Enda apa wopa chef wepo, enda kumusic, vapana vane influence and it's attractive. Now this culture of begging has now come alive. Pamwe ndikanyengerera, pamwe ndikatambira mudhuze, handakavavenga zvangu ana Mnangagwa netsika yavo, but pamwe ndikanyengerera ndikaita zvekubvisa hembe ndichizora huchi ndichitaura zvisina nebasa rese, ndichiita bootlicking, ndogona kukwana kwanawo. Pamwe ndikagadzirawo chiskiti chakadai, ndogona kuswera ndafonerwa naWicknell ndonzi go and get an aqua. Ndo zvavari kuda. They want desperados. Vari kuinjecta that cancer into the system. Havasi kuda followers that are based on moral and principle. No. Make them scrounge, make them beg. And people are attracted to freebies. Pakanzi pava kuhospitari zvinongotaurwa 1-2 days, zvinongodzi aiwa hospitari yakavaka, hospitari haina basa, wanga wagara kwavaifana kutoivaka. But pakafamba rekunzi ukangoti huchi unoswera wapiwa akwa, ukangoti huchi unoswera wapiwa GD6, ukangoti huchi unoswera wapiwa Land Cruiser, iroro manje ndo rinodedza an already impoverished population. Tivafarire but akomana todii, hari kupaka zvemahara, ngatiende ikoko. Handi munoona uyu irana, uyu irana, haasiri muridzi wemari. You'd be surprised kuti 90% ndiye kwaMnangagwa nevana vake nemukadzi wake nemhuri yake. Uyu irana iri. But rana manje rakazvipira kuti ainshefa ndabasa nyangu vakandinyeya, nyangu vakandithreaten. And you wouldn't be surprised kuti pane vanhu vari who are willing to take Wicknell's spot today. Wicknell akanzi afa kana kuti aenda today, rimwe rinototi ndinoda zvangu kutukwa, it's okay chef, nyange ndikamakwa nenyika yese handina basa nazvo, chero ndichikuranirai. Munoti tikaita dhiri re10 million munondipa million 10%, ndinoda. Saka uyu irana zvake ende haana nyadzi. Zvese zvekuti makambani, zvese zvekuti chii izvozvo haana kana basa nazvo. ari kufambisa basa rekwaMnangagwa paanenge achifamba kwese kunana Kenya kunana Tanzania iyi agenda yaMnangagwa. So now comfort level yaana Mnangagwa as we speak is so comfortable to the point yekuti akatomezha akaona kuti macitizens aya zvidununu zvimadhamdham izvi, saka haachavige zvimwe zvinhu. Manje shefu ndikafamba nemi mundege news manje dzikazozviona zvitotorwa mapicture hazvizoita nzi aiwe unotyanigwe uri kukangana kuti tisu vene here isusu, pinda mundege mumfana uri mwana wangu iwo. Hangaswere chivhunduka vanhu vemedia tisu varidzi venyika iyi gara gara uyo hakuna kutya unotyana anokuvhundutsira. Kumasoja takabata, kuCIO takabata, kupolisi takabata, kwese kwaunoti kuri influential kunogona kukupinza pama1 takabata. Chigara apa iwe udye mari. Alright, sekutaura kwamaita manje tingaonekwe tiri tese here kuChina manje zvinozonzi ndinokwana papi zvonzi iwe handina munhu anondibvunza chiiko chaunenge uchida kumbondibvunza iwo. Hendei kuChina uko dhiri ratoda kusaina remabhiriyons riya handingaonekwe ndiri kuzviita nekuti vanhu vanotanga kuti ndiri kudya mari direct. Iwo chuya nechikampani chako chidhami kampani ichi iwo ndiwo unosaina. Iwo ndiwo unosaina asi dhiri rangu unozodyawo. Pakanaka shefu. Chienda chef chienda kaunombopowo mamwe anonzi machairperson maland cruiser ndiidhi ari kuvapa. He is buying his people, he is building a fortress, he is consolidating power. Kwese kwamunofunga kuti kunogona kuita leakage yepower unongonanzviswa. Ukapiwa land cruiser nyange wanga uchambogumbuka unombotonhora ubvonzi neka 100,000 unonzi enda unombofunga kuti uchiri kuvadere vaMnangagwa kana kuti hauvade. But chimbofunga uri muland cruiser uchidya 100,000. Saka uyu zvake Chubuka haana nyadzi. He is okay nekunyewa nesu panapa. But zvese ndizviri kuitwa naMnangagwa, munhu mutapa uyu. Kusumuka uyu kuda kuitwa king uyu. Wokuti kana king ndiani kakuita overlook the government, akuita oversee whether we are going to have a prime minister. Iye ndiye anenge ane final say. Zvinongoitwa kunana Britain kuti kune hurumende patinoripota kumonarchy. Ndo zvaakupushwa izvi. Saka tese let's not get swayed. Let's not get swayed. Geza ari kutaura chokwadi. Asi nyaya yekuti background yake ndo inovhiringa credibility. Ungava uchitaura chokwadi but akakugumbukira waimbotamba navo. Handi munoona. Credibility here where you come from is what is tarnishing to him. Nyange akauya akataura chokwadi seiti zanu pe muda kutipinza muzvimafactional fight zvenyu. Hatizvide zvimafactional fight zvenyu. Muda kutishandisa sekutiitisa kwamakatiitisa 2017. Makatiitisa 2017 apa. Wauda kutirova paper 2 futi. Pedzerana ikoko. So now anosara manje angomira. Pamwe dzimwe dzenguva reforma hatizvisire. But tine trauma ya 2017 yatisvitsa patiri apa. Ndo trauma yatiinayo ya 2017. Saka manje tiri paisland, hakuna opposition. Inenge inonzi yakadyiwawo mari. Hatina opposition. Anenge anonziwo pamwe ari kumakoma ari kumbonamata. Tangooma citizens. Takungotarisana tichita maspekulation. Tichifunga kuti pamwe Mwari achadziko nerimwe gore woti rega ndikubatsirei. Ndo zvega zvasara. Zvese izvi ndezvaMnangagwa zvamuri kuona izvi. NdezvaMnangagwa enda haatyi enda ari kuda mari hombe. Maimboti mugaba anoba. Hamusati maona. Mati madii. Mugabe yanga iri child's play. Izvezvi paakulutwa zveinterntional level. Zveinterntional level ndo zvaakuitika. Saka Wicknell uyu aiwa haakana zvikanzi zvachinja hatichamuhaka zvedu. Asi for now irana haisi mari yake yaanoshandira. Haisi yake anotoudzwa vekupa. Ipa uyu. Nemamwe masuggestions ake dai tambopaka muimbi uyu. Alright mupe handi anokwanisa kutidrawera vanhu. Isi tinoda kuti vanhu people should be attracted to us by virtue yekuti tinonzi tinopa mafreebies. Ndo zvatinoda, ndo strategy yatoda kushandisa You know kuti musikana uyu handide. I'm not good looking enough kuti musikana uyu handide. But musikana uyu ndikange ndiri paari akandiona ndichita generosity ndichipapa vanhu ndichita marika, that will draw her. Whether she likes me or not, achapedzera abvuma chete.
All right,
Nekuti
Ometa.
anenge achiti uyu anobudisa mari.
For the sake of having balance, I would need to go to ZANU PF people to rebut you. But then, just briefly, I mean, in 30 seconds or 60 seconds, but it is working. If you assume that Weak Neil then becomes the runner, but it looks like it is working.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes, indeed. It is working because vanhu vane nhamo, they are very easy to control. Hulu, we know that. It's very easy to control poor people. You weaponize poverty, desperation. What are you going to do? Handimufarire zvangu but ndotongowandira ikoko nekuti ndokune nyama. It's working because strategy yekuda kuita zvinhu zvemamorals yekuti ndidei nekuti ndakuvakirai hospital, ndidei nekuti ndacreata industry, iyo inotora longa according to them. But yekugova gova makuhwa achafamba, uyu akatopiwa kamusunu. Saka istrategy yavo. Ipa zvimamusician izvi vafanira vemazuva ano vanofarira zvezimdancehall nechi ipa vafana ivavo ndo vanoattracta vanhu. Tiri kungoda vanhu kukempu kwedu zvekuti nyange musi watinonzi tariga, nekuti vapana havane tsike kuti vanokwanisa kutora mota dzedu, but mubhaloti hatingazokwanisi kumucontrol, anogona kuvhotera nepamwe. Saka musi watinoriga tinokwanisa kuti titi unoti hatidiwe here isusu. Unopenga iwo. Hausati waona panoenzwa aisha kuti vanhu veZANU PF vanenge vakawanda sei. Mayouth eZANU PF ungati isi hatidiwa, isi tinodiwa, isi tinopa mayouth edu zvinhu. Now it's difficult for you now to make it out kuti uti zvishokuriga here but havane vanhu mazuva ano.
All
So
right.
it's a strategy.
All right, Ometa. So hold it there so that I can just be able to give balance with a ZANU PF person responding to you. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining me, Hulu at Pachisto Life, and joining Rudolph Robo, the Hot Seat Empire, as we are just analyzing the submission by Comrade Blessed Geza, the live broadcast that we played for you, and of course the highlights. In case some have missed it, the highlights is that Comrade Geza was saying that President Idi Mnangagwa is not 83 years, but 87 years. Comrade Geza is saying that there shouldn't be any surprise to see Week Chivayo together with the president, because the president believes in black magic. And Week Chivayo is in a sexual relationship with the president, which has made some other people feel like, wow, what is that? And he went further to speak about Simon Mann, who was in jail in Zimbabwe, who kind of, said something about Wicknow's sexual choices. And, he also further said that this is just a way of buying people for the 2030 agenda. And Wicknow Chivayo dishing out cars has nothing to do with his own money, but that money is coming from the president. He went to make an allegation that Wickno Chivayo is withdrawing 4 million US dollars every week and handing it over to the president. Therefore, the president becomes the godfather of these Ganandis. And Comrade Geza said that he's willing to work with anybody whose intention is to remove President Idi Mnangagwa from power. And therefore, he's encouraging other people to go to Mutare for the ZANU PF conference, and to ensure that the constitution is not mutilated. So those are the points that came from Comrade Blessed Geza, and we are just asking, what are your thoughts when it comes to that? And from the ZANU PF side, Miss Flora Ramai, you said it is a joke, it is nonsense, and all that. But Ometa is suggesting that it is working, and we see something, and Wikno Chivayo, it's not his money, and he's just a runner. What is your take, Flora Ramai? Go ahead.
I don't know whose money belongs to, if it's his own money and he worked hard for it and he feels there's a lot. That's his own business, but I just don't feel comfortable with our president hanging around such a person. I don't think the advice that's been given is very wrong. And in terms of poverty in the country, It's like they're buying people. We need to have pride. People don't need cars. They need services. They need hospitals and stuff. I don't know where Wicknell, but I know he has a project that was very pivotal in terms of electricity, you know, and that's just gone quiet. All we see now is just cars, cars, cars. So, you know, that fraternization is costing the president with other people who don't comment, with other decent people who are not into freebies. You know, I'm not into freebies. A lot of people are not into freebies. We want something that, you know, unite our country. If he was really a person who was working towards building hospitals, if I come to the UK, the university I went to Loughborough University. In terms of donations of building of Loughborough University, the majority of them were given, you know, what we call, you know, sections of them when we went somewhere, because they were donated by businessmen in this country, and it lasts for life. You know, you can donate a hospital and call it Wicknell. You can donate a school and build a new school with facilities and call it Wicknell, whatever. A computer room for kids. We've got kids who are actually don't even know what a computer look like, and they're learning IT without even seeing one. You know, things that matter, that grows an economy. Having a car in the roads that we have in Zimbabwe, if although they're getting better, but it's a status symbol. It doesn't improve everyone in terms of health. We've got kids who are traveling, you know, young kids at 5 years old in Murewa who are waking up in the morning, and one of them died actually recently, the one that I used to complain about, because they're waking up early in the morning to walk at 5 years old, almost 5 kilometers to get to a school. They're not learning anything. They just need you know, a feeder school in their own locality, but they're not getting those things. Imagine if your 5-year-old has to walk. What are they learning? They're just tired. By the time they get back from school, they're knackered. They need a bus to take them to school or a school nearby. And you find that in the rural homes, in the rural areas where kids are marginalized because they have to walk far. I'm not really the one who thinks someone telling me I've got a car for 120,000 or I've got 100,000 in cash. You know, I just think it's bad taste.
So, Ramai, sorry, Flora. In terms of, let us stick here to the points, right? Comrade Geza came up with strange statements, so we understand that. But can you also, I mean, agree that the existence of Wicklow Shifai and his activities, I mean, his actions of giving out cars and, I mean, every week and stuff like that, including money on top of the cars, are extremely strange as well. Would you agree?
Yes, it's strange. It's not, it's unbecoming. I don't disagree with it, but I just don't want my president around him. I think it's bad optics. Right, I'm not agreeing with what Geza is saying because Geza just listens to people and comes back and tell you what you already know. However, from day one, when this started, from the 2023 election, I did not like it. I have got respect for Tagwire because he doesn't do that. He's not a flaunter. We've known him for a very long time. His business is legit. But Wicknell, I don't know where it's heading. I don't know what he does. But all I know is I'm still waiting for the, you know, delivery of the 1 megawatt. Was it one? I don't know what it was for solar.
100 megawatt power at Gwanda,
Yeah,
yes.
we're still waiting for that. We're not getting it. So,
We're not getting it.
yeah, the money
Mm.
he had spent so far could have given us that. You know, something that helps
Yes,
society at
actually,
large.
yeah. And you know what, Flora Ramai? Do you mind if I can just quickly go to Daraji because he has got a problem with his voice today, and we just need him to speak while he still has a voice. Is it okay, Flora? Can I do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So Daraji,
Thank you very much.
Flora Ramai. it does. I mean, she is ZANU PF, but at the same time, she feels that Rick Notivayo is very strange what he's doing now. You, Daraji, I mean, in terms of looking at this thing and putting a mirror and looking at it, which is better, to work for the hospitals or to work to achieve victory for the 2030 agenda? Because other people will tell you that, well, he's giving the cars instead of fixing the hospitals and stuff like that, which are things that are important. But then, if the objective is to win 2030, uh, I mean, and that is your objective, which between the two should you concentrate more on? What did you say?
I would, I would concentrate on neither because either they are all being done by people who are not honest, people who don't have people at heart. I am happy. Is it Ruramai, a ZANU-PF who is very moderate? We love such a ZANU-PF that is moderate, a ZANU-PF that is objective. We can all, on the sides of the president, is disaster, both locally as it is internationally. That is a very bad image being portrayed on the president. And I don't is advising the president. And she also speaks of the Gwanda Solar Project, and she talks about Tagwire. These are in the same WhatsApp group. Whilst Tagwire is very quiet, he also has his Dema diesel power project that never went through. That diesel power project, he did not participate in the tender. He was invited after other participants had been rejected. Look, in a tender, there's a winner. The CIO said no. That winner was a security threat to the country, which we understand, we accept. But there was a second winner. They also rejected the second winner. Tagwire was in fuel at Sakunda. He was invited to be the winner of a tender. He never participated to supply electricity or power to Zimbabwe. And he never happened, but he got paid. Also, Tagwire was given $1.5 billion, which was in ZW or in bond, if you want, which was then turned into US dollars to administer and do the command agriculture. Command agriculture was supposed to alleviate and to stabilize the strategic grain reserve. We were supposed to have come out of this grain deficiency because of command agriculture. This has been running now for 10 years without a single year that we have had any surpluses. Tagore administers that by himself, his company. They don't have employees, but they have an office. They have plush offices for that matter. And then you come back to what he was doing, supplying fuel. Fuel in Zimbabwe is the most expensive in the region because of Tagore. The moment fuel becomes expensive, industry is affected as well. As an input cost, it actually increases prices. Then our goods that were manufactured by ourselves became uncompetitive and they are extremely exorbitant and very, that's why people are exporting, I mean, are importing from South Africa, killing the local industry. Now we go further to Tagore. He only was importing fuel with traffic gura, and he doesn't have any employees. If you are supplying fuel like that, you only have 2, 3, 4 people, or even a briefcase business per person. But anyway, then we come in on to the roads construction through this guy called Obesemuka, his former CEO, who is now given fossil projects or fossil construction and the like. 1 kilometer of road, 1 kilometer of road internationally will cost you $1 million. $1 million, 1 kilometer. Beit Bridge to Harare is supposed to be 600 and something. Anyway, we allow some variances, and then we go up to say 700 million. What comes out? We come up with something like $1.2 billion for the construction of that road. Excessive charging. So this is Zimbabwe, by the way, a third world country that is being looted. And if you want to see, it is a cartel. Go back to the times of Robert Mugabe or Comrade Robert Mugabe. That's what ZANU-PF guys want to know. Wigner was central. You remember when he was going to Dubai and he was hiring helicopters and going on, them having lunch with Grace Mugabe is there on the internet. He was the closest business person. Tagore did the same thing. And those were inherited by Mnangagwa. I don't know whether he was short of other people or not. So you can see it is an orchestrated, the command structure, the command agriculture is all the 4EDs that were created, women for ED, boys for ED, they are all well funded. The FARs and everything, they are funded. So people are people don't have mercy to this country. People don't love this country. This country is rich. If it has proper management, we will be a Dubai of Africa within 5 years. Thank you.
Yeah, Dorji, thank you for that. So, Hot City Empire, Rosobo, I mean, in terms of just where you are sitting and I mean, the need to make sure that your country, Zimbabwe, which is also my country and and the country for many of us who are in this audience, I mean, do you think that we should continue to listen to Comrade Blessed Geza? Or do you think that, yes, it is necessary to continue to listen to him? Because there are some who would say, look, there is nothing new. I think you have heard it. You have heard it from many people saying there's nothing really new. And in the comment section, I see already, I mean, people like Boss Solani are saying Geza is always speaking without any evidence at all, backing up any of the things that he says. Do you think people should ignore Comrade Geza? He's a liberation war hero, by the way, fought in the war with our parents. Do you think we should ignore him? Hot Sheet Empire?
Well, honestly, I just since he started, I'm always lost as to one objective that he set and it actually materialized, to be honest. So I know that a lot of people who seem to be suffering and are affected by what's happening in Zim wanted hope, but calling it a spade, honestly speaking, I just am like, whether you listen to him or not, like before, when he used to go on live Hulu, there'll be like thousands, 25,000 people watching live streaming, 30,000 watching live streaming whilst he's on the live, not even like playbacks, but actual live. Now, when you go there, not even 1,000 people will be there, you know, and it's just showing that. And so I'm just wondering, like, whether he speaks or not, for me, I wouldn't encourage people to try and get onto that bandwagon because he wants to now be charged with terrorism, in the country. So for me, I just feel like at this point, whether you listen to him or you don't, I don't know how it will affect your life or the price of bread. I know people wanted to have hope in him, but for me, before I would set my phone at 8:30. Now I'm just like, whether I miss or not, I don't know. It's whatever. It's neither here nor there. So I really don't have anything to say for people should they keep listening to him. It's a free world. It's DSTV. There are many channels. It's like DSTV is just another segment, I guess. I mean, I don't know how to say it, with all due respect. So yes, he's a liberator war hero, and we honor that and respect that. But as opposed to setting the goals and objectives, like if he was in an exam and everything he's done was analyzed, would he have passed? Would the teacher have said wapasa, wapasa, wapasa? Again, also I don't want to say much because I'm not on the ground. People are like, don't say anything if you have nothing to, don't say anything if you're not going to be involved, or don't say anything if you have not done it yourself. So also that's why also I'm reluctant to even comment about it because people are like, oh, repeat it. So it's really kind of difficult to comment. Yeah. Thank you, Hulu.
Yeah, I hear you. The hot seat empire in terms of if I mean that part where you're saying that if the teacher was marking you know they would say, but remember here this is about Zimbabwe, the country, and the objective here is to is to make sure that the country delivers we can say a better life for all, and therefore unless and until we reach that stage where a better life for all is delivered, it becomes very difficult for the teacher to mark anything. I mean, Rojobo, the hot seat empire. I'm not sure, but then, well, that's the reason why we are having a conversation. Let me
Hulu, my
welcome some.
question, let me ask you,
Yeah.
Hulu, that
hmm
question. My question
hmm
to you is, would you encourage Zimbabweans to listen to him?
The thing is, would you encourage Zimbabweans to have hope in a better country? That is how I would look at it. So we'll look at it from that angle. Do you understand that? I mean, hot seat
So if
empire.
it was yes or no, so I mean, yes or no, Hulu. It's a simple question.
No,
Yes or no?
not every question needs a yes or a no. But like I said, I'm looking at it from a bigger picture of saying, have we arrived yet as a country? And as long as you have not yet arrived, you know, you go for fishing at a dam in Mutirikwi River in Masingo, and then you are having a stick, a sharp one. You know, what do? You are trying to hook one fish there, and it doesn't happen. What do? You keep on trying, right? As long as you I mean, you have not caught anything, it means that you're gonna sleep hungry, and that, I mean, yeah. But anyway, let's hear from I mean, from the others. Flora, raise your hand. Oh, well, you want to say something else?
No, I wanted to say,
Okay.
okay, so no, I just want to say, so Hulu, you failed to answer the question, God, like how you were asking me.
No, no,
Would
no, I
it,
didn't fail to answer the question. Remember, I'm a host, and I cannot be answering yes or no questions like that. But anyway, let's hear from my brother Dobbs, who is a Sabuki as well from Sirete.
I
So,
want to say something before we.
Flora Ramai, sorry, if you don't mind, can I just go
let,
to
let,
brother
let,
Dobbs quickly and then
let,
come to you?
let us say something. Let us
All
say
right, that's
something.
fine. Flora Ramai, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had an issue in terms of what Mudara was saying. It was not really correct on Tagore because he mixes up things because he doesn't even know how, the agriculture was actually funded and so forth. Tagore was a wealth manager. He was into finance, and then he was looking for people to borrow money for Zimbabwe at a high interest. So if you do not understand what Tagore does, and then you just call him a thief, you miss the point of Tagore because you don't understand what his role was. He had a company with employers. He's got a company with many employers before he was one of the only first people in Zimbabwe to actually have, that kind of wealth management as a business. So please do your work properly before you spoil someone's name, right? Because
I think you,
Zimbabwe has no money, no one who borrows Zimbabwe money in terms of where we were. So if you do not know that, and in terms of the diesel power station, it was finished. It's there. It actually exists, right? It does
ah,
exist in Zimbabwe, but it's too expensive to run on diesel. And the project wasn't even his. It was Robert Mugabe who had that project. And Kasuzwe,
ah.
right?
Let me answer you direct on that. My sister, this is in the public domain. Taguirei is a World Fund manager. We understand that. I've worked so much with fund managers. I also run a venture capital company. You will hear it as we go right now. Now, what happened was, my sister, you need to understand this, and this is where we need audits. Taguirei could not bail out Zimbabwe because he didn't
He
have
didn't need,
the
he
hard
didn't have
currency.
them. He doesn't need the money.
No,
He
no,
was
no.
into hedge
Just listen,
funding. It's
listen,
you who's actually
listen,
making up things as you
listen
go.
carefully,
If you want to
listen
talk about,
carefully.
listen
How
carefully when
this
you're off
is
topic.
this is in the
It's not the
this
hedge
is the
funding you're
public
talking
domain.
about. Do you know what a hedge
No,
funder
no,
does? If
no.
you can
I'm
explain to
going
me
back
what a
to
hedge funder does, and then you'll
command.
No,
understand.
no, no,
I'm
no. Let the
actually
DM is
I'm going
relevant.
to
Kambita
I'm
with a
going
to
to
and fro in the DM.
I'm actually going to command agriculture. Tagwire says, I think it's on TikTok, he went on a business trip to Equatorial Guinea. It's not me, it's him. When he came back from Equatorial Guinea on a government trip, in other words, he had been sent by government. How he had been when he was in the private sector, I don't know. Now, when he came, he had something called Command Agriculture in his head. That's how it started. That's how Command Agriculture started. And he went on to convince the old man, Mugabe, that he can turn around the agriculture situation in the country. And here's how he is going to turn around. He was going to give each and every farmer input scheme, and they called it presidential input schemes. Now, this is on the internet. It's not me making up. Now, Tagwire then won the tender without going to tender. So you see, the element of corruption comes into the fact that there was
No, because you
no
didn't
tender.
listen. You see, the problem is you
All
think it
right,
was a tender.
all
It
right,
wasn't.
all right, all right, Flora Ramai. Let's park it a bit, guys, so we can go to Brother Dobbs, and then we can. I mean, we can then perhaps have something like that. All right, Brother Dobbs. So here we are. I asked a clear question in terms of, uh, I mean, is it a waste of time to listen to Comrade Blessed Geza? uh, if it is a waste of time, have we achieved what we want to achieve as a country, Zimbabwe? Have we reached our objective? So much so that we would say, let us not listen to him anymore. That is my question. And what do you make of his submission today? Brother Dobbs Sabuku from Chireti, go ahead.
In terms of his submission today, I'm still analyzing it in detail, but the issue of listening to him is not a waste of time because what he's talking at times he's just telling us the truth. So maybe it's up to us to take a particular action because he was talking talking about the ZANU-PF what do you call it, Congress, upcoming Congress, to say Mnangagwa is going to bribe everybody so that they can extend the 2030 agenda. And yesterday, it is the birthday party. We have seen Wicknell advancing about 180 per province and one ambulance. And then on that theme to say on that agenda of 2030 agenda. So it's up to us to tell our provincial chairperson or whatever that provincial hierarchy to say, even if we understand you have received the 190, which is yours, because the ambulance is worth 90. It's going to save the whole province. We know that our province consists of 20 something constituents, but they are receiving one ambulance from the party which is bigger than the government, which controls the government. So it's coming from the government. There's nothing, we don't want to hear that nonsense to say it's coming from the party. Yet the second resolution, 24-second resolution, was that the party is bigger than the government and they adopted it. So whatever is coming from them is what they do anything on behalf of the government. So we understand them now when they give the whole province an ambulance, second-hand, some of them. And they are just inflating a prices to say they're worth 90 USD, they're worth something, half of that, 45. And then those the province hierarchy, the provincial hierarchy, they're given 190 plus, almost 290 for them to share so that they can advance the 2030 agenda. So Geza did tell us before that coming to say it's coming like that way. But people needed to be brave and throw the 2030 agenda on the bin. So if we say it's not worth listening to him, will be lost because we haven't freed ourselves. We have told us a lot about how even the army itself have been captured by Shigananda. To say some army general are now receiving money from Shigananda. He have told it a lot, like the ZANU-PF chairperson is now on Shigananda payroll, meaning that Shigananda, they are in control. Even they have even tell us that they are going to provide 4 million out of 5, which is required for a conference, to say the 4 million is coming from Sugananda. So the issue of Geza, we need to understand it in depth, and we need to understand to say how best can we liberate ourselves. Where is it going wrong? Is to accept people to say they would act upon it, when his agenda is to remove ED and replace him with the general. If he comes to the people to say you choose who is going to replace you, you would then have joined the people, and people can support him more. But if he has that agenda to say he's going to be replaced with the general, we know the relationship of general with his Wikananda, to say it's not as rose as with ED, but it does exist. It's the one who have resurrected the name Chigananda or Chigananda. We respect him for that. We respect him for fighting for corruption. But we need to go deeper to say, how are we going to reduce it? I understand corruption is just like that. You can't then remove corruption at all, but you can only reduce it. But to say is the men who can reduce the corruption, we are saying no. Even for them, people like Geza, to say they can do something which they can get power and change everything. We really doubt it, because they've got that agenda to say tiri kuda kumbodyawo, not kuti tiri kuda kumbodeliver. They don't have that agenda kuti we want to make Zimbabwe great again. As kuti they want to eat. That is where the problem with the Geza. But whatever he is saying, people ought to listen and think about it, and even advise him to say, as long as your agenda is to replace somebody with somebody whom the people are not fronting to say is the better candidate, it won't be a nice thing. We just wait and watch to say what is going to happen when it comes to that is ZANU-PF Congress, and what would happen after the Congress again. We have to wait and watch to say what is it going. But in terms of Tagwirei, we don't have to talk a lot about him. Everybody knows who is Tagwirei, what he has done or whatever. No, people, is somebody who cannot be defended. It's just like somebody trying to defend the devil to be somebody holy, to be the Messiah. It then becomes a problem. The other issue again, when he speaks, which we need to really understand, is to try to understand why is he that protected a lot, to say nobody is touching him, or nobody is talking about his location, except I can only disclose the location and his mobile number when they freed Mozambique, because I can't just give them the number while they are still oppressing people. When they freed Mozambique, those ones in ZANU-PF, right? Let me just give them the task to free those people in ZANU-PF, Mozambique, Chimombe, and Mbof, Moses Mbof. Then I can tell him where he is, and even if they want further communication with him, I can facilitate that. Thanks a lot, everybody. I received that.
Right. Thank you very much, Brother Dobbs. And Edward, you have come right to the end, and we will be closing shortly. I think we have had a very good discussion.